Hey guys, Marissa, kitchentablestamper.com. Today I've got a fun interactive card for you. This is when we're making a coffee and a card tomorrow at my Rolling Meadows home studio. So every other Wednesday I have coffee and a card. We get together at 10 a.m., goes through till noon, drop in when you can, and we're going to make this fun card. I have coffee and treats. Look at that. Oh, the cutest thing you ever saw. And then look at this. So our little clock is interactive, and so is our little door. Isn't that just the cutest thing you ever saw? All right, so there's our card. If you live in the Chicago area, you're always welcome to join us for coffee and a card. So on the outside, it says, "Hello, you." And on the inside, it says, "Miss you all the time." All right, so let's get on with this card. Here, let me pull that guy down. So when you push up, the door opens, pull down, closes. Pretty cute, right? And that is all done with this awesome Cuckoo For You Bundle. The Cuckoo For You Bundle is a photopolymer stamp set, 17 pieces, really cute mix and matchable things that you can use to customize your cuckoo clock. I'm doing all of my stamping with Memento Tuxedo Black. My Stampin' blends for this project are Granny Apple Combo, Granny Apple Green, Soft Suede Combo, Crumb Cake Combo, Real Red Combo, and the Pretty Peacock Combo. We're going to emboss our background with this woodland embossing folder. Love this guy. And then I already cut for my kit the second largest stitched rectangle out of Whisper White for the inside of my card. And I've cut the largest stitched shapes circle for the outside of my card. This is Pretty Peacock. All right. The rest of my kit is 1/4 sheet. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 Whisper White. And a standard A2 card, it's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 scored at 4 1/4. I've got a scrap of basic black and a scrap of gold foil for this one. You can see I used copper foil on this one and a little copper brad, but we have these assorted metallic brads. And so what I'm going to do is allow everybody tomorrow to pick their own, and they'll have matching foil. So I want a gold sample also. So I'm going to grab a little gold metallic brad. Okay, let's get started with our stamping. I'm going to show you this. Now, the 1/4 sheet is enough to do every cuckoo clock part that we need. You just have to watch your placement. It's generous enough, but watch your placement, and we should be able to get all the little bits that we need out of that. Let's stamp those bits with Memento Tuxedo Black, and we need a Stampin' Pierce mat for these photopolymer stamps. All right, I've got my cuckoo clock here. Let's start with that. It's our biggest element, and we're gonna stamp it off in the corner of the Whisper White cardstock. Make sure you ink up the center of this image really well. And then we'll go ahead and stamp this dude up here in the corner. So cute. Oh my gosh, I just love that little cuckoo clock. All right, then the door. We're gonna stamp that in Whisper White in this left side corner. And we need 2 of these little chains. I don't know what these are, maybe pendulums? I don't know enough about cuckoo clocks except for that they're cute. We're gonna stamp that in the bottom right corner. We need 2 of those. And then we also need the little evergreen tree. Now I've got this bitty little bird here. It's so cute, and we're gonna stamp him inside the little door. So when the door opens up, we see this little dude tucked in there. Ha, cutie. All right, now I think that's all the stamping we're gonna do for a minute. I'm gonna grab my Big Shot and we're gonna cut this out. One thing that you need to know about this is that these dies are specially designed so that you can cut the little mechanism, the slots for the little mechanism right in your house. You don't have to guess, you don't have to get a knife or X-Acto knife or scissors. The dies are gonna do it for you. What you wanna do with Stampin' Up! Dies is line up the inside edge of the die with your stamped image. If you see any white around the outside of your die, it's not lined up right. The new Stampin' Up! Dies are made so that you will not see any white border before you cut. So take your time, check your placement. You can see that there's absolutely no white showing. If there's white showing, that means that you need to shift your die away from the white. It will come out crooked if you see any white along the outer stamped image. Now we've got this special little piece right here. It's got die cut a little slot and then a little line. Okay, so this is all that cuts right here. But the shape of this die allows you to do perfect placement for the little mechanism to slide in and out of your card so that we can open that door. So there's a heart at the top and a heart at the bottom. And you're gonna line this little mechanism up so that you see the black stamped edge of that heart right inside the little heart-shaped window. And you're gonna cut that all as one piece. Now, because we can, we're also going to add a couple of other pieces here. So we're gonna cut one of the little pendulums in this first swing, or in this first run through the machine. And again, we wanna see black line touching the inside edge of the die and no white edge. When you've got that, I used just leftover washi tape. I had a project where I bought a sorted pack of washi tape, had 3 different colors in it, or 3 different patterns in it, and I only used 2 of the 3. So I had a few packages of this assorted stuff, and this stripe one was left over. So I use washi tape, but you can use any little low-tech tape, painter's tape, whatever, because once you get this lined up so that the die is touching the edge of the stamped image, you want to secure it there. All right, we can run the door at the same time and then the door mechanism. So I'll put the door mechanism here and the little door. I'm going to tape those down, take this to the machine and run it through. Okay, so I'm back and here's my first run through the machine. It's my little clock and it's got the little cutout, a slot down here and a slot up here. And then my little door. Here's my mechanism. My tree, pendulum. Now we got to take one more pass through the machine. So let's clear away the dies. Okay, our next run through the machine is going to cut that second little pine cone. And it's going to cut another door, but from blank white cardstock. So just find a spot where you can get a door, blank white. All right, let me crank that through the machine and I'll be right back again. There we go, got that little white door. Now, third pass through the machine is going to be with those little scraps that you have. I'm gonna do a little gold handle for our mechanism and little black clock hands. Let me run that one through and I'll be right back. All right, there they are, the adorable little clock hands and the little gold for the mechanism. Now we've got to do some coloring. And because there's a lot of coloring, I'm going to keep it to pretty simple, just filling in with the Stampin' Blends. I didn't do much blending at all, and even with such simple coloring, I love the way it turned out. Where I did the littlest bit of blending was on the door. I colored the door with the light real red, and then I took the real red and did kind of the bottom and side of the frame and then up each of these little planks. The door is such an important part of the interactive of interactivity of the clock. So that's why I took a little bit of time to add some extra interest. And then I also did a little bit of single color shadowing on my tree. So I'm going to color in my tree entirely with the dark granny apple green and just really saturate, get nice solid color all the way down. Now that the whole thing is colored, I'm going to go down the edges and just add kind of a second coat of the dark granny apple. And it just gives it a little bit of shape without a lot of fuss. Besides that, I'm just coloring in. I started with my light crumb cake and colored all the background of my clock face, avoiding the leaves and flowers. All right, so the light crumb cake background is completely colored in. And now I'm gonna do my dark crumb cake trim. I'm gonna go up the sides in this narrow area, just long, straight strokes. Then around my door, around the clock face. And a couple of details that aren't leaves or flowers. I'm going to color those brown. I'm going to do the leaves on the face of the clock with light granny apple. I'm going to do the flowers on the face of the clock with light real red. Also going to add just a touch of the dark real red at the base of each of the flowers. So there's another place with just a little bit of shadowing for impact. Not a lot of blending here. We got pretty intense coloring, so we don't want to overdo the blending. All right, now I've got my pretty peacock, the light shade, and I'm going to do the centers of these daisies, the inside of the clock face, and the bottom, the base of the clock. I'm avoiding the little details, the dots and swoops. I'm going to color those in with dark crumb cake. Now the roof. I'm going to do the shingles with the pretty peacock. I'm going to do my bird, pretty peacock. And then a tiny bit of shadow on him just to give him some dimension. I'm going to do a little shadow, the tail, back of his head, bottom of his wing. I'm going to take the dark real red and color that little band at the birdie's neck. Dark crumb cake. And I'm going to do those little details at the base of the clock. Okay, our clock is done. Set that one aside. Got the tiniest little bit of coloring left here. Let's grab some light crumb cake, and I'm going to color the chain with light crumb cake. Got my soft suede combo. I'm going to color the pine cones with light soft suede and shadow them just a little bit with dark soft suede. And then tree trunk is dark soft suede. Done. Coloring is done. Not too bad. Takes a little bit, but it's so darn cute. All right, let's right now work on the little mechanism for the hands of the clock, because you have to remember to put the hands on the clock before you do the door mechanism. Otherwise, your door mechanism, your door mechanism will interfere with the functioning of the hands of the clock. Got my Stampin' Pierce mat here, my little clock hands, my mini brad, and my Stampin' Pierce, or my take your pick tool. I'm just piercing the clock through that little circle in the center. Now I'm going to line the little hands up over that hole and add the mini brad to secure the hands of the clock. Now here you're going to open up the mini brad on the back and secure down the hands of the clock, but not too tight. You want them to turn. So loosen this up by rotating it both ways a few times before you assemble the clock. All right, we've got the Stampin' Pierce mat here, so let's do another little bit of stamping. There's this little arrow stamp. It's a little directional, little instructional stamp. It tells your recipient to push. And we want to add this little up arrow about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom all the way to the right on this little mechanism. So you'll see there's a score here, and that score is going to get worked back. And now you've got that little directional mechanism. Let's take some multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to glue this somewhat generously. We don't want it to squeeze out the edge, but we do, we're looking for extra security here. We want to make this double thick and very secure. Now once it grabs, put it aside and let it dry for just a second. Well, we've got our ink pad. Let's do the stamping for the inside of our card. I've got my Whisper White stitched rectangle, and I chose Miss You All the Time. Do Cuckoo For You, that'd be really cute in here too. But we're gonna stamp it high of center and then centered right to left. Then we're gonna get that cute little birdie and we're gonna stamp that one so that he's standing right on top of time. So cute. I'm gonna color him with some Pretty Peacock and Real Red, just like we did on the inside of the clock. So some very simple, quick coloring. We're almost done stamping. Now, inside the little door, we've got that Hello You greeting. So we're gonna put the door, the white, plain white one, so that it's curved down. And we're gonna ink up Hello You and stamp that right inside this little door panel. All right, we're done stamping. I'm gonna clear away the Stampin' Pierce mat and ink pads, and we're gonna emboss our card base. I'll be right back to put this all together. Got my crumb cake card base in my woodland embossing folder here. Now, it looks like the branches grow downwards if you hold it with the logos upright. So you want to turn that so that the fold is toward you. Put the card front into the woodland embossing folder, and then you're going to crank it through the machine just like this. I'll bring it right back. Here's our woodland embossed card base. I'm going to take my snail adhesive and let's put the inside panel on the card here. Just center it all around. Such a little cutie. I thought this would be kind of a fun one with back to school time too. You can send this one off to your college bound kids after they've been gone from home for a week or two. Be a cute one to send in the mail to your college kid, right? All right, so we've put our stitch circle about equal on the left and right and top, high of center. Now, here's our little cuckoo clock and the mechanism. What we're gonna do here is from the front, we're gonna thread the little mechanism through the door slot and out the bottom slot. See? So you don't want to bend this mechanism. You want to keep it nice and strong, and you want to slide it through very carefully. Now, it's got two little tabs here, little stopper. And what you want to do is shift to the right, tuck that in, and then shift to the left and tuck that little tab in. It's a little tight fit. But what happens then is when you push up, your little door mechanism opens up. All right, now we're gonna take some multi-purpose liquid glue here. And on this little glue tab, we're going to add our front door detail. And then we're going to push up and we're going to add our little greeting detail. So a little more glue on the tab. And then we're going to add, hello you. So we sandwich that little glue tab between two tidy door pieces. Do you see that? Pull down, push up. How cute is that? Ah, you've done it. All right, now, the next thing we want to do here is grab some multi-purpose liquid glue. We're going to cover this gap down at the bottom, add some glue, and put your little handle. So cute. And then your tree, multi-purpose liquid glue on the right-hand side, the back of the tree. I'm going to glue that to the front of your cuckoo clock. Now, for the back of your cuckoo clock, let's slide our card aside for just a minute here. I'm going to take these little, put that one in so you can see, these little chains, and I'm going to put some multi-purpose liquid glue at the top of them. I'm just going to do the tiniest little tap, and on the right side, I'm going to add my little pine cone pendulum thing. And then on the left side, I'm going to add one that's a little bit higher. So now they're glued to the back of a cuckoo clock. Make sure that they're hanging nice and straight. Now watch this. We're going to just flip this whole piece over. And then we're going to reinforce everything and add adhesive so that we can get this on our card. I am really loving the edges of the mini Stampin' Dimensionals for this. They're kind of wide, so you can cut them in half thickness and get some long strips. I'm going to put a couple of long strips. Now you have to be very careful here. You don't want any adhesive to interfere with your mechanisms here. You've got that little brad that spins. You've got this little lever that raises and lowers. So be careful to keep your adhesive far away from those things. I'm going to put a nice big chunk right at the top of the clock. Then I'm going to cut up some more small pieces here. We're going to put one on the bottom of the pine cone, each side. And then I'm going to do some strips here. Reinforce these delicate pieces because this card is going to get played with. So let's put some strips of dimensional adhesive on the back of those. And then I'm going to also take a little bit and kind of reinforce where we glued those little pendulums to the back. All right, so it's quite a bit of dimensional adhesive. I'm going to do one on the pine here, but keeping very clear of your mechanisms. All right, last thing we have to do is pick this and stick it to the card. Okay, everything is sticky. Let's go ahead, flip our little cuckoo clock, and center it in that circle. We want that pretty peacock circle to just frame our adorable little clock. There it is. Now, there's my adorable little Cuckoo For You clock, whether in gold accents, hello you, or copper accents. Both are absolutely adorable. All right, if you've got questions about Cuckoo For You, about the project, if you would like to purchase Cuckoo For You, you can email me, Marisa, at kitchentablestamper.com. I'm always happy to help with orders. Or you can buzz by to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net and place your order there 24/7. If there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, email me. Thanks for watching.